Rookie quarterback Jarrett Stidham played from beginning to end in the Patriots preseason finale. I'm Sierra Goodwill here with Alex Barth and Evan Lazar. Guys, another game where Brian Hoyer doesn't see a minute on the football field. Obviously, we've mentioned before, he does have a lot of football experience, and Jarrett Stidham's probably not going to play at all during the regular season, so he needs the reps now. But in the preseason finale, did he win that backup quarterback position?
I don't know. I think that decision was probably already made before tonight. I don't really think that one game is going to change Bill Belichick's opinion all that much when he has, all the way going back to June's minicamp to kind of scout Brian Hoyer and Jarrett Stidham. I think the whole thing about him playing over Hoyer the last two games, exactly what you said. They need to get Jarrett Stidham reps. He can make all the throws, right? He can throw everything that they need him to throw in this offense. The question is what's going on between the ears. And the only way to get him up to speed in that aspect of the game is for him to play. And they know what they have with Brian Hoyer. Everybody in the league knows what they have with Brian Hoyer. But Stidham's the guy that they're trying to groom, so he's got to play to get those reps in.
I will say, and like Evan said, this decision was probably already made, but to look at your conversation another way, what can we learn from the fact that Jarrett Stidham played the whole game? And this will all be answered in 48 hours, but just to look at it right now, the last time the Patriots had a similar situation was in Jimmy Garoppolo's rookie year when they had Ryan Mallett as the backup quarterback. Garoppolo plays the whole fourth preseason game. A few days later, Ryan Mallett is traded. So, as unpredictable as people like to say the Patriots are, you can look for patterns. Bill Belichick's been doing this for so long that there are natural patterns that have developed. And if we look at what history tells us about this situation, you find as similar a spot as you can. And that tells us that Brian Hoyer may not belong for this team.
Right, and the argument to that is Tom Brady's age. He's obviously playing at an unprecedented age, which means if he goes down, is Jarrett Stidham ready? We've talked about that.
Brady was old in 2014.
Yeah.
There isn't a difference between 38 and 42.
At the same playing level. But at this point...
Evan, you've made that comparison a couple times.
With Jimmy and Jarrett Stidham? Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I see with Jarrett Stidham, I asked him about it after the game, how do you feel your decision-making is coming along? Because, listen, he's a rookie, and I get that these things are rookie mistakes, but the things that I'm seeing with Jarrett Stidham are that he's a little gun-shy, right? He's standing and holding the ball in the pocket, and he doesn't trust his eyes. It's like the eyes are not lining up with the arm right now, right? And he doesn't trust his eyes. And then sometimes, and not so much tonight, but certainly in the second and third preseason game, he's putting the ball up for grabs a whole lot. And the ball security hasn't been so great. So, again, he can make all the shots. You can have him throw any type of throw out here, and he'll sling the ball. The 35-yard touchdown to Demaryius Thomas is a perfect example of being able to control the football. Pulling the string on a ball like that is not easy to do for a lot of quarterbacks. So all that is great. But he has a long way to go mentally in this game. Right? There's a lot of things that he doesn't do decision-making wise that an experienced quarterback like Brian Hoyer does a lot better.
So at this point, is Brian Hoyer expendable because of all those things you just said?
I think I've said so since when we're OTAs, April.
Yeah.
I've been on that for a while. He's not going to get cut. They're not going to let somebody with Brian Hoyer's value just walk away. If they don't have the trade they want, they'll roll with three quarterbacks. That being said, I think they're going to explore options to trade him. You look at a couple teams around the league that need a backup or maybe even a fringe starting quarterback. If you want to talk about the Indianapolis Colts, a one-week competition between him and Jacoby Brissett could get pretty interesting. So I think there is a suitor out there for Brian Hoyer. I think you could find a team willing to get stupid and maybe give up a little bit too much for Brian Hoyer. Expendables, I wouldn't quite go that far to that word, but I do think he is in a spot where the value for the Patriots right now in him is as a trade piece as opposed to being on the roster.
We talk about this a lot with roster battles and who's on and who's off and all that kind of stuff. The question the Patriots are going to ask themselves, if they haven't already answered this, is Brian Hoyer more valuable to us on the roster than Gunnar Olszewski or Kelvin Munson or Shalik Calhoun or Derek Rivers or Obi Melifonwu, whoever it may be, right? That last roster spot, because if you cut Brian Hoyer, you trade Brian Hoyer, and you're not getting a player back in that trade, you are opening opening up a roster spot. So is that player more valuable to you than having Brian Hoyer in the quarterback room? I think that it's questionable that a guy like Gunnar Olszewski or Calvin Munson's more valuable to this team than Brian Hoyer. But if they can get some trade value out of him, I think they're fine either way. I don't think that they're going to win or lose the Super Bowl based off of the situation with Brian Hoyer.
Just to qualify real quick, it's not, Brian Hoyer or Obi Melifonwu. It's Brian Hoyer or Obi Melifonwu in a 5th-round pick.
Right. That's
so you have to factor that in, and some
too.
of it comes into the return.
Yeah.
This Foxboro report is brought to you by betonline.ag. Head to clnsmedia.com/win. Enter promo code CLNS50 to receive your welcome bonus. For all of our Patriots content, head to our website at clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel at CLNS Media.